So
This
you lose out on the
conference will
recording.
now be recorded.
So let me share the screen. Please remind me for that recording part, guys, all of you. Okay. So wonderful. So let me, okay, this is where we were writing the test cases, if you guys remember. Okay. And then, yeah, and then we were having a running notes. Let me pull out the running notes as well. Okay, this is our running notes. Okay, and then there is this picture as well, right? If you remember, there was a picture as well. Hang on, where did that picture go? It is there in the courses. No, it's not here. Where it will be, yeah, running notes. Okay, so this is the picture, I believe, that we are supposed to use it. Yes, this is the picture. That's true. Okay, superb, guys, superb. Okay, so we are writing the test cases for this, and there is a use case document which is given to us. Unfortunately, in this class there was no BA, so we acted as a BA. We ourselves have created the use case document. Based on those use case documents, we are writing the test cases. Okay, so again, you have to look at the use case document. For each use case, we have to come back here and write the test cases. And also the use case documents, there is a requirement ID. If you want, you can write the, you can put the requirement ID over here, as well as you're writing the test cases for each requirement. Okay, you can put the requirement ID for each requirement as a requirement ID, which you will put over here, so that the RTM, the requirement traceability matrix, is being taken care of. The RTM, which is the requirement traceability matrix, is taken care of. But is this done? Most of the companies, I never used to do it. Okay, I'll just hide it. I never used to do it. Okay, but again, some companies does it. Yes, most of this, maybe some companies will do it. So I'm just, for the teaching sake, I'm doing it. Okay, for the teaching sake, I'm doing it. But once you go to the company, are we supposed to track this, even before they ask? I don't think so. Okay, but again, in some companies, I have seen people putting the requirement ID. So to make sure the template looks good, I have put the requirement ID over here. Okay, so the last test case that we have written is, again, the login, check for the enable property of login and cancel button. Where am I writing these test cases from? The use case document that we had. Okay, the use case document that we had. Okay, usually the use case document will be created by the by the business analyst. So based on the use case document, I am writing the test cases. The last test case, what is the last test case? Check for the enable property of login and cancel button. Where did I get it? You see, this is the explicit requirement. Initially, when the login screen is open, login and clear buttons may be disabled. Okay, so that should be disabled, and cancel button and forgot button should always be enabled. So is this the one? No. Check for the enable property of login and cancel button. uh, okay, so there is a small misunderstanding, guys. Check for the disabled property of login and clear button as soon as the login screen opens. Okay, check for the, nobody has brought this up. Okay, check for the disabled property of login and clear buttons. Okay, not buttons, clear. Okay, clear, clear buttons as soon as the login page opens. Okay, so first, based on this particular, okay, you see, initially when the login screen is opened, login and clear buttons must be disabled. Okay, so check for the disabled property of login and clear button as soon as the login opens. So for this particular requirement, okay, which is 4.1.1, okay, which is 4.1.1, okay, which is the explicit requirement. This is 4.1, 4.1.1. This is the requirement number. Okay, this is the requirement number. For this requirement, you have written the test case. Okay, for this requirement, you have written the test case. Okay, and then you can write the test case for this one. What is this? Cancel button and forgot password button should always be enabled. Okay, so you can say that. Okay, check for the enabled property of, cancel button and forgot password button. Okay, cancel button and forgot password button. Okay, somebody has asked me to enlarge it. I have enlarged it. Is it okay, guys? I've enlarged it. Okay, Shirin, you asked me to zoom in. Did I? Is this okay? I've zoomed in. Shirin Khan. Shirin, okay, is this looks good, right? Okay, so I've zoomed in a little bit more. Okay, so where am I writing these test cases from? Again, okay, I'm reading through each and I'm looking at each and every requirement, and for each and every requirement there should be a test case. And what is the test case number? 4.1.2. Okay, this is the sorry, the requirement number, not test case number, requirement number. Test case number TC underscore 006. Okay, this is again, let's say it is some test cases are written by Shirin Khan, some test cases are written by Chandana, and let's say the new test cases are written by Abhishek. Okay, so because in a team there are multiple people, right? Multiple people. And again, what is this type of test case? Is this a GUI test case? Is this a GUI test case or a functional test case? Please tell me, guys. Is this a
Quick,
GUI test?
Functional.
Okay.
quick, sir.
Okay, hang on 1 second. I wanted to freeze these panes. Okay, yes. So this is a GUI test case, not a functional. Okay, whenever there is some action, you're doing something on that, then it is functional. Let's say you have entered the username, password, and click on login button. There is some activity going on. The page will move from the login page to the home page. Okay, that is functional testing. Here the page is static. Okay, the page is static and you are checking for some property. Okay, spellings are correct, enabled property is correct, disabled property is there or not. This is more like checking the GUI things, checking the GUI things. Are we okay, guys? Understood? This is a GUI test case. Okay, now what is the expected value? What is the expected value, guys? Cancel button and forgot
Enable
password
both button.
button is enabled or must be enabled, or however you want it to write. Actual value, when will you get the actual value for this test case? When will you get the actual value? This is the expected value, right? When will you get the actual value for the test case? Only after executing the test case. Only after executing the test case. Okay, only after executing the test case you will have the actual value. You will have the actual value. Okay, which might happen 15 days from now or 1 month from now or whatever it is. I've told you why there is 1 month gap or 15 days gap between the execution time and written time. అంత ఈగో ఉంటే పే చేయమని. Okay, so we will write the test cases for this. Upon entering some information, username field and password field, okay, clear button should be enabled. So we will write the test case for this particular requirement. What is the requirement? 4.1.3. Okay, 4.1.3. This is again, I'm sorry, 4.1.2. Okay, test case ID is TC underscore 007. Okay, and who has written this test case? Let's say Abhishek has written. Again, you are also there is no functionality checking here, so there is it's not a functional test case. This is again a GUI test case because there is some static maybe you are entering something, upon entering some information using it. Okay, this is more like maybe it is a functional test case. I'm little curious about this, whether this comes as a functional or this thing. Just give me one moment. Okay. Mm,
Sir,
this
quick
should
test
be,
test case over this also.
this is, but you are entering something in the fields and checking it, right? um,
Yeah,
whenever there is an action, right, here you're seeing, you see,
but sir, not
upon
use
entering some
a
information.
function.
Yeah, this becomes functional because in my sense, whatever I have written, this becomes functional because you're doing something on the page. You see, you're entering some information on the page. As an actor, you're doing some action on the page, so only then you're checking for something else. So definitely this is a functional test case. Okay, because you're entering some information and then you're checking if something is enabled or not. Okay, this is functional. Earlier you haven't done anything. The page is loaded and you're checking if something is disabled or something is enabled. But here you're doing something on it. How you're doing something? By entering some information onto the page. Are you understanding, guys? Are you understanding? So this becomes a functional test case. Now, functional test case, there are two types of test cases. One is positive, one is negative. So what is this test case? Is it a positive test case or a negative test case?
Negative, sir.
Negative. Okay. Can somebody please, I want to hear from all of you. Will this become a positive or negative? Others, please respond, guys. There's 19 people and only a couple of them are responding. This is not fair. Okay. Hello, knock, 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 knock. Please respond. Is there anybody on the other line? Okay, this is a positive test case. Vinupriya says positive. Okay, Koteshwari says positive. It's a positive. Sir Kumar sir, then what is the negative test case? Okay, I'll come to that. Okay, but for now, this is a positive test case. I will write this as a positive test case. I'll write this as a positive test case. Okay, I'll write this as a positive test case. Okay, this is a positive test case. For this also, the prerequisite is login page is enabled. What is the test steps? Watch carefully. Enter. Okay, what is for which requirement you are writing here? Okay, the requirement upon entering some information in the user field or password field, clear button should be enabled. Okay, so enter some value in username field. Okay, enter some
Sir,
value, some information. Yeah, sorry.
sir, my question is, enter some value and enable a clear button. So, sir, it's also a GUI test because test case because of it's a display case because of enable not a using of functionality test.
Okay, I agree with you, brother. But generally, whenever you do some action on that one, right, it becomes a functional test case. Maybe if you wanted to write, you can say, okay, positive slash GUI, okay, slash GUI. But I'll stick to still, okay, I'll stick to still it as a positive test case. You need not have to be this specific because nobody is going to judge you unless it's an interview. But otherwise, nobody is so focused on whether it is GUI or positive. Okay, test case, but this is for your reference what kind of case type, test case type. But always remember, okay, whenever you're doing something on the page, okay, here you're entering some information in the field, username field, so you are doing something on it, so automatically this becomes a functional test case. Yes, you're checking for some enabled property of a cancel button. I totally agree with you. Okay,
Yeah.
you can say it is a functional and a GUI test case, which usually sometimes it happens. If you want to be so specific, you can write it. Okay, but maybe your manager, maybe in the interviews they might ask, but once you get into the project, the manager might not say, oh, oh brother, this is a GUI, this looks like a GUI, why did you call it as a functional? I don't think he will come call and ask you. But you know, something which is little confusing as this one. Okay, so you can put functional slash GUI. Okay, but I would like to write it as a functional test case. Okay, are we okay, brother?
Okay, sir.
Okay, who was this? Abhishek, right? Okay, yeah,
Yeah, sir.
wonderful, Abhishek. Good points, good points. Okay, so what is again? Okay, clear button should be enabled, right? Yeah, clear button should be enabled. So okay, uh, clear.
Sir, after enter information, then enable a clear button. So it's the functional test. अगर otherwise sorry, it's a
Yeah, I'm
available मतलब ये पहले होता तो then it's also a GUI test case.
yeah. Had you know, if you're not doing anything on the page ना, आप पेज पे कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे हैं, आप जस्ट चेक कर रहे हैं फॉन्ट सही है, स्पेलिंग सही है, या ये फील्ड्स है, यू नो, विदाउट यू
Yeah,
डूइंग एनीथिंग, यू आर जस्ट चेकिंग, देन वो गुई हो जाता है. बट हियर आप क्या कर रहे हो, तो थोड़ा थोड़ा बहुत काम कर रहे हो पेज में, थोड़ा इंफॉर्मेशन डाल रहे हो यूजर नेम फील्ड पे, अभी तो थोड़ा
okay,
काम कर रहे हो, इसलिए ऑटोमेटिकली वो फंक्शन बन जाता है, फंक्शनल बन जाता
okay, okay,
है.
okay,
या
sir. Okay, I know.
you got it, na? So my
Yeah, yeah,
apologies
yeah.
if you haven't understood Hindi, brother. Okay, but that is already been explained, so I'm
Okay,
ignoring that. Okay, I'm talking
yes.
to everybody else, Abhishek. Okay, so
Okay,
अभी
okay.
देखो, now this is a classic example of having one requirement but two test cases. Okay, abhi dekho, everybody look at it. Okay, first test case I have entered something on the username field and I've checked if the cancel clear button is enabled or not. But second test case, what I will do, can you tell me what is the second test case for this requirement 4.1.3? what is the what is the second test case for this same requirement for 4.1.3? Everybody guys? Okay, Rahul says negative test case. So Rahul, I'll come to that, but I wanted to write the positive test case only for this requirement. What is the other positive test case we can write for this particular requirement, guys? Wonderful. Vinupriya says, okay, you entered something on the username field and you checked if the clear button is enabled. Now what you will do as a second test case for the same requirement, you enter something in the password field, and then you will check for the enabled property, because in the requirement it is clearly saying that, okay, something you enter in the username field or password field, okay, or password field, then clear button needs to be enabled. So first test case is you enter something in the username field and check the clear button is enabled, and the second thing is you enter something in the password field and clear button is enabled or not, you will check. So for this requirement which is 4.1.3, okay, I'll write this as 4.1.3. okay, for this requirement which is 4.1.3, okay, for 4.1.3 you have two test cases. You see, for one requirement you can have two test cases. That's what I'm telling you. Okay, I've even told you before. Okay, and then we will write the test case for this 4.1.4 as well. Okay, 4.1.4, upon entering some information into username and password field, okay, then the login button should be enabled. Okay, only after entering something into both the fields, username field and password field, the login button should be enabled. Okay, can somebody tell me how many test cases we can write for this? How many test cases we can write for this? All of you, please
5,
unmute
sir.
yourself. 5. Okay, so Aruna said 5. Okay, Aruna, first tell me the first test case. Aruna,
First,
tell me the first
yes, sir.
case.
Yes, sir. First test case is if you enter the valid username and if you left that password field, that is one test case.
Mhm. Let's say this is written by Aruna. Okay, and let's say this is also positive functional test cases, positive test case. Okay, so what Aruna is saying is, okay, you you enter some information into username and password fields. Okay, password fields. Okay, you enter some information into both username and password fields. Okay, then what should be the expected results? What should be the expected result?
If the username password is valid, it will go navigate into the another page.
That is okay, but here look at Aruna, look at the requirement. What is the requirement? You enter some information into username and password fields. Okay, what should happen? The login button should be enabled. So you're
Yeah,
checking this requirement. So so you have entered some information into username and password fields, then what should be the expected value? Can somebody tell
Login
me?
button should be enabled.
login
Ah,
button
should
enable.
be enabled. Wonderful. The first case is login button should be enabled. Sorry. Okay, the login button should be enabled. Okay, so login button should be enabled. Okay, login. Okay, this is a positive test case. Okay, now tell me one other test case here, guys. Okay, tell me one other test case here.
Invalid username and valid password.
uh, actually, we might not know. We are not checking whether we are logging in or not. Here we are just checking, we are entering some information and checking if the login button is enabled or not. What you do is you enter some information into only username field. Okay, you enter some information into only username field. What should happen? The login button must be enabled.
No, no,
Okay,
sir.
login button must not be enabled. Okay, this is what is the negative test case, guys. Clearly requirement says when both the fields some value is entered, only then the login button should be enabled. Okay, only then the login button should be enabled. The vice versa is if one of them is enabled, sorry, if the information is provided to one of them, then the login button should not be enabled. That is the vice versa, which is the negative test case. Nobody, nowhere in the requirement it is given that one field is there, the login button must be disabled is not there. But as a QA guy, we have to figure out that we are testing the functionality very closely. I mean, you will not leave any scope of issues or errors or bugs. So even though specifically they didn't say that if one field is entered, then the login button must not be enabled, nowhere it is mentioned, but it is understood. And is it not understood? If username field, if you are entering only username field, then the login button must not be enabled. This is understood, and we have to check that fact, and that becomes negative test case, because the positive is if you enter both the fields, then the login button should be enabled. If you enter one field only, then the login button should be disabled. That becomes a negative test case. Are we clear, guys, now what is a negative test case? Are we clear, guys, what is a negative test case? So how many negative test cases you can write here? How many negative test cases you can write here? Okay, Rahul says 2, Abhishek says 1. How many negative test cases? I want everybody to answer this. How many negative test cases? Aruna says 3. Okay. Okay, I will go with Aruna. I'll tell you why. Okay, I will tell you why. First, you entered some information in the username field. Okay, and the login button must not be enabled. Then I will enter something in the password field. Okay, and username field is obviously not entered anything, only password field. I've entered some information into password field only. Okay, which means that you are not entering anywhere else. Okay, then the login must not be enabled. And what is the third one?
Or field are blank, then
Yeah,
login will be enabled.
sure. Login username field, leave username field and password fields empty or blank, or don't enter anything. Then also the login page must not be enabled. That's why there are 3 negative test cases. Okay, this is the one negative test case. Okay, so this is the first negative test case, this is the second, this is the third. Okay, sorry. So sorry, this is the first negative test case, this is the second negative test case, this is the third negative test case for the same requirement 4.1.4. Okay, for the same requirement, we have how many negative test cases? We have 3 negative test cases and 1 positive test case. Are we clear, guys? Now you understood what is a negative test case and positive test case, all of you? Clearly, all of you? Okay, so for one
Yes, sir.
requirement, can we have multiple test cases? For one requirement, can we write multiple test cases? Yeah, yeah, superb. Okay, so now we have written the test case till 4.1.1. Okay, this is 4.1.1. Okay, now we have written till 4.1.4. Okay, then we will write it for 4.1.5 as well. Okay, tabbing order must be as follows. Okay, write the test case for that as well. Okay, okay, this is 13. Okay, and then the requirement is what? Requirement is for 4.1.5. okay, 4.1.5. okay, and who has written this test case? Let's say our Chandana Syed. Okay, Syed, Chandana has already written some test cases. Okay, Syed has written some test cases. This is a positive test case because we are checking for the tabbing order. Okay, we are checking for the tabbing order. Okay, for this also the prerequisite is login page is available. Okay, steps, what do you do? Okay, okay, start tabbing. Okay, start tabbing from login page. Okay, start tabbing from login field. Okay, start tabbing from login field. Test data, nothing. Okay, expected value, the tabbing order must be following. Okay, expected field is what? Expected value is what? The tabbing order must be as follows. Okay, the tabbing order must be as follows. So what is the test steps? Start tabbing from the login field. Then what is the expected value? Tabbing order must be as follows, login password. So this is the another test case. So with this, all the explicit requirements, we have given test cases for all the explicit requirements. Are we clear, guys, all of you? Are we clear, all of you? I'm going little fast. If you think you have any doubt, stop me, guys. Okay, because this is easy peasy and I'm quickly going through it. Okay, I think we have written the test case for this. We will start writing the test cases for implicit requirements. Initially, the cursor must be in the username field as soon as the page is opened. I think I've already written this. Have I not written this, guys? Let me look into it. Okay, yes. Okay, you see, this one I have already written. You see, okay. So what I have written, login page is available. Check for the initial position of the cursor. Okay, initial cursor must be in the username field as soon as the page is opened. Okay, so I've written the test case for already this yesterday. What is this? Check for the initial position of the cursor. Okay, cursor should be in the username field, or I will write it again. I'll write it again. What is the big deal? Okay, so I'll write it again. Okay, Control X. Okay, and I will write it again here. Okay, so I'll put it down here. What is the test case? Okay, TC 014. Okay, this is for the requirement. What? This is for the requirement 4.2.1. Okay, 4.2.1. Okay, 4.2.1. Okay, this is 4.2.1 requirement. And who has written this requirement? Let's say test case Syed. And what is this test case? Okay, initially the cursor must be in the username field as soon as the page is opened. You are not doing anything, so this is a GUI test case. You are not acting on it, you are not entering something, so this is a GUI test case. What is the prerequisite for this? The login page is available. Okay, then what is the test case that you have written for this? Okay, check for the initial position of the cursor. Okay, then test data, you don't need any test data for this. Okay, hang on, guys, hang on, 1 second. Sorry, brother. Sorry, everybody. Okay, so check for the initial position of the cursor. The cursor should be in the username field. Again, this is a GUI test case type. Okay, you have written it for 4.2.1. Let's write the test case for 4.2.2.2. Okay, if username field or password field is incorrect, appropriate error message is displayed to the end user. Okay, let's start writing the test case for this, guys. Let's start writing the test case for this, all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there is one more change I have to do here, guys. I went little fast. Okay, so here you see, okay, positive test case, enter some information into the username and password field, and the login must be there. There is a test data for this. Okay, what is that you will enter? Okay, for the username field, okay, I will enter what? Okay, GAK Gupta. Okay, so you have to clearly tell what is that information you have to enter into the username field. That information you have to put it in the test data field. What you are saying, enter some information into the username and password field. Okay, what information also you have to give here, and that is the test data and password. Okay, let's say password is Isha. Okay, password is Isha. So what is that you have to give the information also you have to give here, and you have to give that in the test data. That I forgot. And here you're saying enter some information into the username field. Only username field you are giving some information. So you only username information you will give here. Only username information you will give here. Okay. Okay, Praveen Mohan. Okay. Okay, so what is that test data that you are supposed to give also you have to clearly mention here, which I have missed out. Enter some information into the password field. Okay, so what is that you will enter also you have to give that, but that you have to put it in the test data. Password, let's say training, QA training password. Okay, QA training. Okay, that also you have to clearly mention, because as I've told you, Shireen Khan, or who has written this test case, let's see who has written this test case. Aruna has written this test case, but Jagdish might be executing this test case. Now Jagdish need not have to understand everything to execute this test case. He should know only, he should be able, the test case should be so clear that he should be able to just see the test case and then execute the test case. That is the reason why we give all this additional information. Okay, leave username and password fields empty. So what you do, username field is empty, okay, nothing is there, and password field is also empty. Password field is also empty. So you have to clearly, as much information as possible, you give it in the test case so that it is absolutely clear and nobody needs to put their brain while executing the test case. Okay, so are we clear? Are you clear with this particular test cases, guys? All of you? I forgot to include the test data here. Are we clear, all of you? If somebody is missing out, please tell me, guys.
Yes, sir.
Clear, na? Hang on, guys. Okay. Okay. So now let's start. We went back and we fixed this particular thing. Now we will go back and we are starting the we were writing the test cases for implicit requirements. We will write the test cases for this. Okay, what it is saying, if a username field or password field is incorrect, appropriate error message must be displayed by the end user to the end user. This is totally an negative test case, because if a proper username and proper password is given, if it is correct, then it will display the home page. That is a positive flow. But this is a negative flow. You see, you are giving some incorrect information. So this is a negative flow. So this is basically the negative test cases which we are about to write for this requirement. So now you tell me, guys, how many negative test cases we can write for this particular requirement? Please tell me, guys. How many negative test cases you can write for this particular requirement? Okay,
Sir,
3.
4, 5.
Okay, so basically you can write 3 or maybe 4. Okay, but I'll tell you all of them. Okay, valid username, invalid password. Okay, that is the first test case. Invalid username, valid password. That is the second test case. Invalid username, invalid password. Okay, again I'm telling you, guys. Okay. Okay, username and password. Okay, let me zoom in, guys, some of
And sir,
them. Okay,
both are
what you do
invalid.
is, okay, valid username, invalid password. That is the first test case that you will write. Okay, okay, or in case we are saying correct and incorrect, right? So we will say correct username and incorrect password. Okay, we will use the same terminology, and then incorrect username and correct password. Okay, and both are incorrect. Incorrect username and incorrect password. So these are the 3 things you can check. Not only this, maybe some people will also check like this. Okay, correct username and blank password. Okay, this one also correct, incorrect, it doesn't matter, but with blank password also they will check. Okay, so probably we can write 4 test cases for this. 4 test cases for this. Are we clear, guys, all of you? That is also good. Okay, you wanted to check empty username, okay, and empty password. This is also a valid username, but some people don't do it because that comes as a part of security testing. Okay, so you can definitely check that part as well. Okay, you can check that part as well. Okay, so I don't want it to write so many test cases. Okay, so I will write only one test case, guys. I will write only one test case. Okay, I will write only one test case. Okay, for 4.2.2. Okay, TC 015, and I'll say this is for which requirement? 4.2.2. Okay, 4.2.2. Okay, so Syed is writing these test cases. This is a, you are doing some functionality, you are doing something on the application. So is this a GUI test case or is it a functional test case? Please tell me, guys. One is GUI, 2 is functional. One is GUI, two is functional. Please tell me, guys.
It's functional.
And not only GUI, these are the negative test cases. Sorry, this is not only functional test cases, but these are negative test cases. Okay, for this also the login page must be available. Okay, enter the valid, okay, correct username and incorrect password. Okay, enter the correct username or incorrect password. Okay, correct username and incorrect password. Okay, so test data, you will give the test data as well. Username, let's say GAK Gupta is the correct username. Okay, then password, let's say Isha123 is the incorrect password, let's say. So that's what you will put those test data as well. So what should happen? What exactly the error message that supposed to come, we have to say. Okay, let's say the error message is user credentials, okay, are incorrect, please check them. Okay, please, okay, please check them. Okay, so following error message is displayed. Okay, displayed. Okay, following error message is displayed. Okay, so exactly what is the error message that will come with the spelling mistakes, with the spellings, you have to put it here, guys. You cannot just cook this up. You have to talk to the developer, you look at the use case documents or whatever you need to do, but exactly whatever is the message that is supposed to come here, that message you have to put it as an expected value. You cannot cook this up saying that, oh, some error message will come. No, it's not some error message. What is that exact error message that you're supposed to see? You put that into that expected value. Okay, why? Because written by Syed can be executed by somebody else. Okay, Syed, it says we cannot check keep n or pass backward, then login button will be enabled, so we cannot click on that. Wonderful, Syed. Yeah, what you said is absolutely true. If you put both, even one of them empty, right, the login button will not be enabled, right? So if one of them is empty, then the login button will not be enabled, so these test cases are invalid. That's what you're telling, right, Syed? Syed, is that what you're telling? Superb, man. Syed, you're concentrating. Wonderful. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir. I'm saying that. And login button will be available, so error
will not be
we cannot
enabled.
click it. We
Yes, yes,
cannot click it.
yes.
So how can the error message will come?
Superb, superb, superb. Okay, everybody understood, guys? Everybody understood what Syed is saying? What Syed is saying is, if you leave username field or blank password field as blank, the login button will not be enabled. So how can you test that? Okay, 100%. So I totally agree with you, Syed. I was not thinking about it while writing the test cases. Okay, man, this is so nice. Everybody is concentrating so well. I'm so happy about it. Okay, I'm so excited as well. Okay, wonderful. Then you can write those remaining test cases, guys. Okay, I'm quickly writing it up. Okay, okay, so this is test case 16, test case 16. Okay, requirement 4.2, 4.2.2, Syed, negative test case, login page, enter the incorrect username and correct password. Okay, and correct password. Okay, and correct password. Okay, then okay, then let's say the username is incorrect. Let's say the username is JK Gupta 123 and password is correct, Isha 123. Okay, then again the same error message will come. Wonderful. Okay, then we will write one more test case. What is that one more test case is for? The test case is for incorrect username and incorrect password. Okay, incorrect username and incorrect password. Am I going fast, guys? Am I going fast, all of you? Am I going fast? No, right? Okay, let's say
No,
GK12,
sir.
GK Gupta 123 is an incorrect username, and password is also Isha 123 is an incorrect password. So you checked and the error message is also same. Wonderful. So for this particular requirement, we have written three test cases. And these are negative test cases is what we have written. So are you understanding now, getting the hang of what is writing the test cases, guys? I'm just asking you, all of you. Are you getting the hang of it? So So I cannot keep writing for all of them, guys. So I expect that you will be writing the test cases for all. I will be sending these test cases, or should I write for all of them, or you can write it yourself? I think I've already written the test case for this. Okay, so we have to write the test cases for all this. Will you write the test cases, or you want me to write it? One is we will do it, sir. Two is you do it for us. One or two. I will send these requirements to you. I will send this test case template to you. Okay. So will you do it yourself, or you want me to do it? I want to hear from all of you guys. We have already written it. So one is for what? Should I do it? Okay. One is you'll do it yourself, right? Okay. So one is you do it yourself. Two is I'll be doing it. Okay. So homework, superb. Okay. So this is the homework, guys. Okay. I'm putting this in the chat window, all these requirements. Okay. I'm putting this in the chat window, the flow of events and everything. I'm putting it in the chat window. Okay. I'm putting it in the chat window. Okay. On the WhatsApp group, I'll put it. Okay. That becomes easy. Okay. Okay, I'm putting it in the chat in the WhatsApp group. Okay, and also the test cases that we have written, right? Okay, I will send this template across to you as well. Okay. Okay, let me put it on the desktop for now. Later on I'll move it. Okay. Oh, this is test cases. Okay, so I will send this across to you, so you can use the same template. You can use the same template, all of you guys. Okay, and and you can write the test cases by yourself. Okay, so I'm sending it to both the groups. I don't know how many are there in the first group, how many are there in the second group. Okay, so in the both the groups, I'm sending it across to you. Okay, you can pull this template from your WhatsApp. Okay, you can just say, do one thing, guys. You can just say web WhatsApp. Okay, you go here and say web WhatsApp. It will ask you to scan, and you can scan it, and then you can get these test documents on your system. Okay. Okay. Swati, I wish I can do it, Swati, but we are already, a little late. Please watch the video, Swati. Okay, because if you haven't understood, because it is little unclear, I would have explained, but your system. Okay, positive test cases, Swati. Okay, remember this. Okay, there is a username password. Okay, I'll explain this, Swati. Okay, Swati has asked me to explain this positive and negative test cases. Okay, so username and password you are checking. You enter the correct username and correct password. Let's say you've entered the Swati, listen to me very carefully. You entered the correct username and correct password. Click on the login button. It goes to the home page. This is a positive test case. This is what positive test case. Okay, but you enter the correct username and incorrect password. Error message is displayed. This is the negative test case. Similarly, you enter the incorrect username, correct password. Again, it will not allow you to the home page. This is the negative test case. Incorrect username, incorrect password. Again, this is a negative test case. Okay, so if you're looking at the positive flow, then it becomes a positive test case. If you're looking at the negative flow, okay, then it becomes a negative test case. Your thought process is negative, your thinking is negative, everything is negative, then it becomes a negative test case. Okay, but everything is positive, you're going in a positive flow, it becomes a positive test case. Swati, are you clear? Okay, again I'm telling you. Okay, wonderful, Swati, wonderful, thank you. Okay, again I'm telling you guys, this writing the test cases is probably the most important thing you do day in day out as a manual tester. Okay, so today we will stop the class here, because if I start teaching the test design techniques, I need some time. We have two things. One is ECP, which is equivalence class partitioning, and boundary value analysis, BVA. Okay, so I need some I need some time to explain this. Okay, so I'll explain it tomorrow, but it doesn't take too much time. Tomorrow we will start looking at the bug life cycle as well, which is very, very important, and different severity levels and priority levels of bug. Okay, so very, very important, guys. Okay, so tomorrow's class is again extremely important. So Krishna is asking a question, guys. sir, we will perform the test cases only as specified in the document, or we will do the test cases for all the possible scenarios. Okay, Krishna, first our test cases starts from the requirement document. I've been telling you, okay, our testers mindset should be in such a way that you don't believe what you think is right. Okay, whatever is there in this use case document or the requirements document, that is Bible for you. So you will start writing the test cases from this particular requirements. Then you can think about all possible ways. For example, we have checked this particular requirement where the username and password is incorrect, then appropriate error message is displayed. This is the use case. Okay, for this all the possible test cases you will write it. Okay, all possible test cases you will write it. But again, your thought process will start from the requirements. Okay, example I'll tell you, Krishna. Let's say there is, you are doing a testing for a jeans. Okay, you see a pair of jeans. Okay, Tanya, I'll give my number. Okay, hang on. So you're doing the, Krishna, look into this. Okay, you're doing the testing, you're working as a quality analyst or a tester for a in a clothes showroom. Okay, then okay, manufacturing, clothes manufacturing, pair of jeans you pulled out, there is a holes at the knee area, then you think that that is incorrect, and then you say that this lot is incorrect, or the jeans is not made properly or stitched properly. You cannot say that. First you have to look at the requirement. What does the requirement says? Yes, there should be holes in the knee area. Then you will start writing the test cases, or you will start writing the testing, or you will start doing the testing as per the requirement. So Krishna, first your testing will start from the requirement, and that requirement then you expand into all possible scenarios. So Krishna, did I answer your question? Okay, but you don't cook up the requirements, or you don't cook up the test cases all by yourself. First read the requirement, think about all possible ways that you can test it. Okay, so if there is anything that needs to be cooked up, the BA will cook it up, and that will be implicit requirements, which BA will be cooking it up for you. Okay, so but you don't cook up the new things which are not there in the requirements. But yes, for a particular requirement, all the possible scenarios that you need to test, you will test it. Okay, yeah, Tanya, my number is an Indian number. It is 801-995-2427. Okay, so you can call me Tanya after the class. Okay, this is my number, Tanya. Okay, +91 if somebody is out of US. Yeah, out of India. Yeah, 801-995-2427. You can note it down. Okay, and then you can call me as soon as I complete the class. So Krishna, I have answered your question. Anybody else? Tanya, I have given my number to you. Is there anybody else that I need to answer? Any questions? Yeah, somebody was speaking. Please speak up. Jaydeep, we have already discussed. Okay, once you have written the test cases, when we are talking about the V model, you remember? Okay, let me pull up the V model. Okay, where is the V model? Okay, okay, okay. So you see, once the test cases are completed, there is a verification. Okay, definitely there is a validation and verification. So these documents will be reviewed. There will be a peer review, there is a manager review, there will be a client review. Okay, so there will be reviews, Krishna. Okay, I'm surprised you have asked it, because we have already covered this. Yes, definitely there will be a review. Somebody has to review it and approve it. Client will be approving it, but somebody has to review it. Okay, Jaydeep, are we clear with this? Okay, but definitely client, sometimes
Yes,
the
sir.
test cases that I have written, the BA used to review each and every test case and say that, okay, this is good, this is bad, you need to add this and all that. Okay, review used to be done. But some clients, they are lazy, they just look at the RTM and they say that, okay, all my requirements are covered, for there are test cases for that, I'm happy. But there are some clients where they say the BA has to review each and every single test case. So the BA feels that it is an additional work for them, additional headache for them, but they have to do it because that's per the process. But before the BA will be looking at it and approving it, there will be an peer review, internal review, and once that is done, then we will put it across to a BA or the client. Okay, wonderful. Anybody else, guys?
Yes, sir. I have a one question.
Okay, who is this? Tanya. Yeah, please tell me.
Yes. So actually, I don't understand implicit and explicit, but I know the Selenium implicit void and explicit void. But here is a functional testing. You said that implicit void and explicit void. I have some
Yeah.
doubt here. If you have time, please explain on that. Not
There is
today.
look at Tanya.
Yes, sir.
There is a
Yes.
video on that. Yesterday we have not yesterday, 2 days back we have covered
Uh-huh.
this. Watch that video. It is all
Sure.
there. It's all there. You have the playlist, Tanya.
Yes, I have.
You have the playlist, right? So I
Yes.
think 3 days back we have spent half an hour covering what is implicit test cases and explicit test cases. Please watch the
Okay.
videos. If you still
Okay.
have
Sure.
doubts, you get back to me. Okay?
Sure. Sure. No
Then that
problem.
becomes
Thank
easy.
you. Thank
Sure.
you, sir. Thank you. And
No
I
problem.
have a one thing I need to talk to you. I don't know exactly your phone number. So I live in USA. So India, I need to, I don't know how I'm gonna call in the WhatsApp group. WhatsApp, is it okay?
WhatsApp, you can call him. Okay? Just type this in
Okay.
WhatsApp and you can call me. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Sure. Thank
Yeah.
you very
And
much.
or else I'm there as one of the admins in the groups. You just click on that and call me. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Wonderful. So let's take off, guys. Okay, check it. It's day 22, Tanya. Okay, it's day 22.
Day 22. Okay.
Yeah, implicit and
Great.
explicit. Just now, I think Vinupriya has confirmed it. Yeah, thank you.